In today's video, I'm going to give you one attacker tip for every single operator in Rainbow Six Siege. Now, this tip for each operator is going to vary from map to map, and it could be literally anything random, something that you might not know, or something that I think will help you become a better player in Rainbow Six Siege. If you guys want to see a defender tip for every single operator, be sure to like, sub, and comment some unknown tips that you guys have for attackers. Let's get right into the video. Comes to hatches when you're using Maverick. I actually forgot about this tip, but basically you don't need to take your Maverick torch and burn it a certain way. For example, I used to think that you would just have to go around and then it would open, but the hatches actually have an HP. So basically you can do anything you want and just burn as much as possible. Don't mind my voice crack. As you can tell, I saw this while playing with Pox on locks. And I was like, bro, what are you doing? And he reminded me of this tip. So as you can tell, I'm protected and it's open. I didn't have to do any squares, anything. It's literally just an HP bar. Now, when it comes down to using Osa, a lot of people just use them like a shield or like just to sit behind. But did you know that when using a Osa shield, you can actually burn Aruni gates? Now, as you can tell, it doesn't work on window cells, but it does work on doorways. Let me show you. As you can tell, it just bugged out, and it's not a bug or anything. It actually does burn the Aruni gate. This is another reason why you could be using Aruni, and it's a lot safer option, especially if you have a teammate behind you watching for anybody to swing. Could make your life a lot easier, and you don't need to burn anything with stun grenades, or any basic utility. Now, when using Hibana, a lot of the times when you're attacking Clubhouse downstairs, there'll be a Cade on this hatch, and you either need to get, Sledge to grenade it, or you just can't push the hatch. If you didn't know, you can actually Hibana the side of the hatch. Not like that, more like right beside it. And sometimes you can actually get the Cade claw off of the hatch. As you can tell, I destroyed the Cade claw and I'm now able to get the hatch. Now, let's say that Hibana trick you're not a really big fan of. What you could do is you can, of course, grenade it off. For example, you just make a little sledge hole and you get it off just like that. Cade is actually pretty easy to counter. It just is a hassle sometimes because you got to watch for the C4s and whatnot. Probably one of my favorite Thermite tricks of all time. For example, you see this wall in a bunk. Now, of course, it's electrified. I said electrified. But there's a soft wall right here. Now, if you didn't know this, you can actually place Thermite charges right beside on soft objects, like, for example, this. And you can open the wall. As you can see, now I have access and I can do whatever I want. Now, a lot of people don't use smokes properly in Siege. A lot of the times when they get post plant or they get a site, what they end up doing is they smoke themselves out and then plant. Now, from the enemy's POV, this is all they're going to see. They have the complete line of sight. You're going to have to blindly push out like a bot, and you're probably just going to die, and it just sucks. Instead, you're going to want to use smoke grenades just like any other game like CSGO or Valorant. You want to smoke off any entrance that the enemies will have, so they will have to blindly push into something. For example, let's place it on this doorway. This creates a one-way, which I actually didn't mean to do. But as you can tell, you can't see. And even if you crouch, they can only see once they swing when they crouch. So that's how you should be using Capital smoke grenades. Overall, it's a lot better. Never smoke yourself out. Smoke the enemy out. There are certain situations where you might want to smoke yourself out, but in most times, just smoke out the enemy. Now, even though Thatcher's banned 99.99999% of the time, and there'll be a very rare occasion where you can actually use something like this in terms of Thatcher. A lot of people don't utilize when Thatcher's up his EMPs from all sorts of directions. For example, let's take these two ADSs that's here on pillar. Now, if you have somebody pushing down the back tower stairs, someone's on this pillar and you have a grenade and you can grenade them, but there's two ADSs, you can literally go from above an EMP, as you can tell, and get both of the ADSs and then and then get a nade. Now, what a lot of people don't know about Flores is his Flores drones are literally just normal C4s with wheels. And what I noticed a lot of people doing is they'll get their Flores drone into elbow, for example, and they'll think that they need to get their Flores drone exactly on top of the shield, and there'll be like a mute jammer right here and whatnot. So what you should be doing when you're clearing utility is, one, say there's a mute jammer here, you can probably get your Flores drone right here without it getting muted. You can clear the mute jammer, and then you can maybe get your Flores drone literally like right here, and it'll destroy it. You don't need to always get your Flores drone on top of the utility itself. The radius is insane. Now, Fuze is a year 1 operator, but it seems like a lot of people still don't understand how his cluster charges work. So let me show you. If I place a cluster charge like this, the cluster is going to go from left to right this way. But if I change the way I place it to this way, it's going to disperse left to right this way instead of, you know, left to right. It's all about how you place it. So you see this light, see how I place it this way? It's going to go left to right. I'm going to show you downstairs. Now I'm going to show you the other direction right beside it. I meant to say right to left, by the way, not left to right. I'm sorry. But basically, the cluster charge goes right to left, but it does depend on how you do place it in the floorboard. So keep that in mind when you're using Fuze next, because this can actually, you know, haunt you from not getting a easy kill. Now, if you didn't know, these little Azami, you know, barricade things, you can actually place hard breach devices like ace charges or Hibana pellets, and it'll destroy it. So keep that in mind next time you're a hard breach and you have no other type of utility to destroy. Something I like with Zofia, if you don't have a drone or you're trying to clear a room, and once again you don't have a drone, or you just need to quickly clear it, as you can tell, there is nobody in this room. How to indicate if somebody's in the room off of Zofia's stun is it will detonate immediately. As you can tell, it waited to go off, but watch how quick this goes off. It's almost instant. You can really tell the difference between the two, and that's how you can tell if someone's hiding in a corner or if someone's just in a room, or if they're even affected by the Zofia stun. Now let's talk about Zero, one of the most underutilized kits in the game, and one of the most overpowered kits in the game overall. His 4 little cams are insanely overpowered in terms of flank watch, and I know you're probably sitting there like, what is he talking about, flank watch? These are one of the most low-key cameras that you can have, and they are also put in literally any place possible. For example, I can put one in light fixture. If you're coming down yellow as like a flank, you're not going to really be looking up into the roof, for example. And let's just see what this line of sight gives you. This gives you a complete flank rotation for anybody going down 90, bathroom, lockers. You can see somewhat behind statue, gong door. This gives so much unlimited intel. So next time you are thinking of bringing up a flank watch, you can even ask yourself, would Zero be better? Because Zero, there's going to be no intel off of like any sound when you're on the Zero cam. The only thing that sucks about Zero cams is they flash a little bit. But if you have a dead teammate, you could give them tons and tons of resources for intel, and you can shoot these things in all sorts of places. Don't get me wrong, you should definitely use your Zero cams in sight if you need to, but think about flank watch next time, just because cams give so much information and it can be so useful in late round scenarios, especially because you can flip your cams around on certain walls. Now, instead of randomly throwing your Sens gadgets in like Ice Cold did at the start of the season and confuse the hell out of me, you gotta think strategically. For example, drone holes will be your best friend, and angles too. For example, look at this Sens. What this does is this cuts off all of pipes. Now, don't get me wrong, they can probably jump up on pipes and maybe get an angle, but this will initially allow you to push in and start either taking pressure into sight, or just, you know, have one angle to worry about less. For example, you can mess up a lot of times like I just did, and I just stunned myself like an idiot. But it takes some practice to understand the gadget. But the yellow angle and the pipes angle is very prominent, and using it just to cut off basic angles like that is very important. If you can't use the gadget, don't try to force the gadget. This is the issue with Sens, and why Sens can be an awful operator in the wrong hands. Sorry, I scolded. I didn't mean to put you on blast, by the way. I just had to use you for an example, man. Yana is one of the strongest operators on attack overall, in my opinion. The great thing about Yana is there is this trick where you can cancel your Yana cloak last second, and it will look like that you're literally the Yana cloak. For example, watch this. Microsecond there will, you know, get the enemy to be confused. And I've seen it work lots of times, especially in champion elo. If you move around like a silly little goose and you act like, you know, you're the bot, they'll probably expect you to just be one of the Yana cloaks, and they might only shoot one bullet at you. If playing Finka, use the LMG and do not let go of the shoot button. If you do this, you will be automatically champion probably in 10 games. There's a lot of Spider-Man spots in this game, and Glass is perfect for a Spider-Man spot like this, because it only takes a few shots to kill somebody. For example, let's take this garage triple wall spot. Can you imagine getting peeked by something like this? Same map, we have Consulate Lobby. Say you guys are gonna plan off on front door. You can easily smoke this out. And wait. As you can see, the entire site. And even bottom green. Buck, in my opinion, is definitely B tier compared to Sledge, but there are certain maps and places where like I would prefer an operator like Buck. For example, Buck, I would definitely prefer him for Clubhouse Kitchen, and on screen is going to be a, you know, versus of which ops I rather pick for certain maps, so between Buck and Sledge. So let me know down in the comments why you would pick Buck over Sledge on certain objectives, and yeah. Now, a lot of people think that when we talk about flank watch, a lot of people shit on Gridlock, and they think Gridlock actually sucks. But there's a lot of maps where I would prefer Gridlock over a Nomad. So on screen, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be giving you a tip on Gridlock and Nomad, what maps you should be using them on. Because in all honesty, when it comes to using these operators, they're quite self-explanatory, and there's honestly not a lot of tips I can give you, especially for Gridlock. Like, what other tip can I give you besides telling you what map to use them on? Usually, you're going to be wanting to use gridlocks on staircases, of course, and nomads are very inconsistent in this game, so I really wouldn't want to sit there having to, you know, place a nomad on a staircase just for it to not to go off and somebody can easily shoot it. So you're going to want to have to, you know, watch that. There isn't much tips for IQ, I'm going to be completely honest, but a good tip for IQ, if you do somehow use IQ and you guys haven't found the bomb, you can literally pull out your scanner, look around. As you can tell, there's no bomb in cache. You got to get a little bit closer. I'm going to assume it's probably downstairs. Oh, it's actually in bar. That is literally the best tip I can give you. Besides going under, you can actually tell if someone does get on a cam. I will show you right now. As you can tell, this is the enemy on a cam. I used to love wallbanging people, and for example, this is in bar. You gotta watch for the beams, but as you can tell, I'm trying my best to wallbang this, but the beams do get in the way, and I finally do get it. You can do this on all types of maps. My favorite map to personally do that and go under is probably on Villa, because you can go under because usually you have a Maestro or a Smoke or a Mew or somebody in Vault that checks cams. So if you do want to get easy cheeky kills, you can do something like that. Now, we both know how annoying Echo and Maestro cams are and how they can just deny the plant. When a lot of people use Dokkaebi, what they use the Dokkaebi calls for are usually just to track down any roamers, but people don't utilize the last call. For example, if you use one on the roamers, that's more than fine if you can act off the information. I would only suggest using it to act off the information, and I would save the last one when you're going to plant if you know they have an Echo or a Maestro. Because what happens now if the Echo or Maestro tries to deny the plant, as you can tell, Echo's on his Echo cam right here. I can literally just throw up a call, and it forces them off of the phone call. So then I'm able to plant easily, and this dumbass is stuck with a ringing phone. Think strategically when you play Siege instead of thinking of in the moment, hey, how can I clear this roamer that's across the map? A lot of times people don't understand you don't need to clear roamers. You just need to take certain map control. Now, there's not many tips I can give you for Lion, in all honesty. You can make Lion work on any map, just like, honestly, any other operator. But there's going to be specific operators you're going to be wanting to use more than others on certain maps. So, on screen, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put maps where you could specifically use Lion, and it would work in a very good lineup. Because in a lot of these newer maps, a lot of players don't know how to play it. So, what they tend to do is they start to play it like it's a ranked map. So... yeah, Lion could be very good to really stop any people being rats and just running around. Something I would say though, don't just randomly throw up Lion scans at the start of the round. People used to do this back in when the operator first released, and that was because it was long lasting. I don't know if you remember when Lion first came out, but it took quite a long time for the Lion scan to go down, and it was highly effective for anybody spawn peeking, and it made it easy to rush. So here are the maps that I would be using Lion specifically on if I was wanting to win the ranked game. Now, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Kali, I don't think there's that many tips you could honestly say. Besides, you know, maybe using Kali just for super long angles. For example, one of my favorite long angles is out on this balcony on the clubhouse. Now, as you can tell, what I'm doing is I'm shooting through cash. And immediately what I can do from here is just hold off any cross or cutoffs for the enemies. Now you have to have super good reaction time, but as you can see, this is the cash box. I can see if anybody's crossing over, and you're literally cutting off anybody's rotation. You might have to do a little bit of baiting. That's why I'm not a big fan of this. Or you can shoot where I'm shooting right now, and you can see anybody's feet if they're, you know, by this corner right here. Seriously though, like, what tips, what tip like do you have for like, you just boom, open a wall, bam, you got the utility off, now you're a stupid sniper. Now, even though Ash is out of the meta, if you use Ash's like little Ash charges, they do create more of an explosion, and it's a lot stronger than Zofia's impacts. For example, let's see how much utility this can take out with all these frost mats and the bulletproof cam. Now, it did create like a very big radius and got rid of 2 BPs. I mean, it got rid of 2 frost mats. It did not get rid of the BP. But the good thing about this is the hole that it creates. And for example, with a lot of this utility, like for example Malusi devices and whatnot, if there was a Malusi device right here, it would be very easy to get rid of and clear without burning any ADSs. A lot of people don't use Ash like this, but you can kind of think of an Ash charge below as kind of like a grenade because of all the utility that you can clear. Now, this is going to be a 3-in-1 type of tip, and this may seem a little lazy. It's just I've been sitting here thinking in terms of Nokk and Amaru, how exactly would I want you know, a tip to be for Amaru and Nokk? If you guys have anything better, comment down below. But personally, I think Nokk and Amaru are best used when havoc is going on around the map, and this includes with like sound, audio, gunfights, etc. And then, you know, they can make a sneaky play, especially someone like Nokk. So to pair Ying, especially because Ying's Candelas are very loud and distracting, something I would definitely say, if you're going to bring a Nokk or a Amaru, you're going to want to execute off of sound overall. And especially someone like Ying that can make a lot of noise, definitely communicate with your teammates what you plan on doing and why. So for example, say I'm just making random noise in kitchen hallway, and I know my Nokk is going to go down blue stairs. What I probably would do is maybe place a Candela on the hatch, or I mean on the main kitchen hallway, and then Nokk can slowly go down blue staircase, because most of the guns are just going to be looking towards, you know, main stairs slash when you get the kitchen hallway open. What you could also do with Ying or Amaru, if you're trying to make a play like that, is wait until you hear explosives. For example, if you hear Hibana opening the hatch, you hear cluster charges going off, that is the best bet when you're going to want to sneak. Now, of course, with Ying, if you set it on, you know, the 3 tickers, it is going to, you know, immediately go off on detonation. If you go 1, going to take some time and then go off. For operators like Twitch, Blitz, and Montang, I did not have a tip for them that was not repetitive. I tried to think of something new for almost every single operator, or something more site/map specific in terms of these operators, and to be honest, I couldn't come up with anything. So down in the comments, give me some tips for Montang, Blitz, and Twitch if you guys have any that I could have added into today's video, and maybe in a future video I'll show a quick little, you know, clip of your tip. You can at me on Twitter at Garfieldisdoc, or you can join my Discord and drop some clips down in my clip section. Besides that, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see a Defenders video, let me know by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video, and have a lovely day.